Ta-da! Teleporting looks like so much fun. Wish I could do it. Add one bad guy. Okay, you ready for some action?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Matrix Path of Neo. We are now really getting into the thick of the training portion of this game, which actually makes up a pretty good chunk of the game, like the first, I don't know, fifth to a quarter of it maybe. It's going to be a couple videos that we're still being taught things. I mean, the whole point of the Path of Neo is that you're like always unlocking new things whenever you do the, when he turns yellow and gets, goes sicko mode and whatnot. Anyway, here we're going to be fighting people with swords for 20 minutes. Not super eventful, unfortunately, after the first one. Which I apologize for if 43 minutes is a little long. That is toward the high end of how long I'm willing to make LP videos. And I haven't done a big chunky video like that in a while, but yeah, that was not the reason that I had a week and a half long hiatus for this run, which I did. That was because I was busy for most of last week. I'm going to be busy this week as well because it's the week of Thanksgiving. And then at the end of the week and the weekend, when I was going to do a bunch of shit, I was sick. I got a little cold. Nothing too bad, but enough that I didn't want to record anything. And now I'm like coming out of it and feel okay. So, yeah, we're jumping back in. Anyway, this part of the tutorial is mostly focused on sword fighting, which, I mean, I have not finished this game, but I've played, like, probably 2/3 of it or so. And there have been, like, literally no other sword sections in this game. I'm also, like, really shitty at fighting with swords, and probably shitty at the game in general. I've already made this disclaimer, but I guess I'll just do it again. That, if anyone watching this, if this is your introduction to this channel, or, if you're new here, do not expect a walkthrough of this game. This is a game that I have played once, not all the way through. So, still getting used to the controls. I'm also just, not an epic gamer. I'm kind of silly, kind of stupid sometimes, so. Ha 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 ha.
Trinity, what are you doing here?
Exercise.
This is not your fight.
Looks tough.
Your hair is sharp.
Let's do it.
If either of you bite it, I'm pulling you out.
I was trying to think of a pull-out or like a pull-out game joke, but I couldn't think of one in time for it to really hit. I was thinking of that headline that was about the Afghanistan troop withdrawal, and said Biden's pull-out game is sloppy, and I don't know if that was an intentional pun, or indeed if that was even a real headline. It was, just an image I saw on the internet. One of thousands that flick across my eyes every day. But don't care. It was funny. So anyway, now this is a little bit easier because you have a friend to chop this guy up with.
Rumors surrounding your blade are true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I got into it in the last one, but in terms of the controls
You cannot
in this game, sometimes it just feels like the game just kind of decides when it is gonna do the thing that you're pressing the button for.
I don't know.
Like, I understand why I'm not doing super well when I'm like panicking and mashing buttons, because I'm trying to do things too quickly. But there are times where I am actually like hitting buttons and, at least to me, like timing things okay. And it will just like not do what I'm saying. Maybe this is a technical problem that I have, because it seems to happen with it's happened with a couple of PS2 games. But you know it probably is just that I fucking suck. I don't know why I'm doing what people who believe in the Mandela effect are doing, where it's like, no, it couldn't possibly be that my brain is shitty and wrong. It's like the whole universe changed around me. Like, no, just every video game that I play with a controller, except for the ones that I'm already good at, all have fucked up controls that don't always register what I'm doing. Anyway, now there's like a bunch of these guys, and you see they're really making me get that Matrix code. It's like the Tweety birds in cartoons, you know. It's around your head. It means you're confused. You got code on the brain, you know. That's what being stunned is. So you have to hit square, and yeah, it just kind of decides whether or not that works. Sometimes I just like tap square, and that seems to be fine. And other times I like have to mash it, or he'll like fall over, and then the enemy will come and slap my little butt. I don't know why they make you fight this guy for 10 minutes, or why they do this like fake out thing. I guess they just, mostly correctly assume that you'll think that the sword fighting is really cool, so like you want to do a lot of it, but this is just like boring. I would rather, like, you know, be traversing an area and chopping up enemies, which we're gonna do in another one, like, or at the very least this needs to be shorter. Like, this guy has like 6 phases. I've been fighting him for like 10 fucking minutes. Like, come on, man. And there's only so many, like, combos and things you can do with the sword, and this early in the game. You don't have a very big focus meter. But you can do the epic finishing moves. And that part's pretty cool, where you slice the code out of him. My numbers...
Thanks for the practice.
Don't mention it.
Keep your blade sharp, Neo. You'll need it where you're going.
Keep your hair clipping through the grass, Neo. It's still there, wow. I love the falling code. Let's have a brief let's get some booyahs in the chat for how cool the Matrix falling code effect is. I mean, it is kind of crazy to think about the cultural ubiquity of so many images and motifs from the Matrix. To say nothing of the, filmmaking style that it, popularized and sort of progressed for Western audiences. Anyway, I kind of like this part. The black and white playing this on an actual PS2, which I'm sorry that I'm not epic enough to have like a capture card situation where I'm guessing that this is a thing you can do, that like upscales the actual resolution, like to make it actually like clean and not have those, I don't know the technical term for anything, but the lines around shit that make it look like it's like on a CRT television. It doesn't look as great as it could be. This part kind of hurts my eyes when I'm playing it in the dark, but it is neat. And yeah, hopefully this game looks okay on the YouTube. My mileage kind of varies with the console games, because the only console games I've played with my capture card for this channel have been on the PS2 and the Wii, so it's not like they're high-res games natively to begin with, of course. And then I capture it and render it in 1080, which I know even that, like 1080 is like baby resolution now. People want fucking 8K. People want to be able to see the pores on Neo's face. But I'm old-fashioned, and I, like, maybe it's because I watched, like, Let's Plays and online videos in general with, like, pretty shit quality for, like, 15 years, but I really, like, can handle not perfectly sharp quality for videos, at least. Especially of games. I don't know, kind of, like, makes sense to me that an old game would look old, but if it bothers anybody, sorry. Anyway, this part is cool. This is more my speed. If you're gonna have a bunch of sword fighting shit, just have me like run around and kill guys with swords. And like this is fucking cool, this part. I was having a blast doing this. Don't really care if I'm doing like good technique or whatever, I kind of just live in the moment. Hit the button, hit what feels good, and see what happens. Go from there. Taking a lot of chances. Making a lot of on-the-fly decisions that don't actually happen.
お前を我々の麦を盗みに来たのかいや、彼を拙者の倒つことができるならば、おいを伝授しよう。
Okay, so now we're gonna kill the ghost. I was gonna say there's a movie with Nicolas Cage called Kill the Ghost, but I'm wrong. There's a movie with Nicolas Cage called Pay the Ghost, which is very bad. But a really funny title, and it does describe the main thing that Nicolas Cage's character in the movie has to do, is pay the ghost. What does that mean exactly? Well, you're just gonna have to watch Pay the Ghost to find out, because I don't remember. Because that was like 5 years ago, and I was probably drunk when I was watching it. Anyway, now we have access to the scroll of punching. So now we can punch people really hard. And go through the code door. I love that. That little... I don't know what you call that. Just like a surge. Upgrade, I suppose. I wish I could do, like... I wish any time that I, like... That would be a good way to know that you, like, fully understand something. Like, that you can do something, or you understand something well. Is that, yeah, your body, like, pulsates, and you just feel all the fucking code entering your brain computer. Anyways, more stuff. We are going to get into some shooting later on in the video, which I swear to God, I am not as bad at the shooting in this game as I come off in the section that we're gonna do. I think in this video. I'm pretty sure. It might be the next one. I don't remember. I edited these together like 5 days ago. But yeah, whatever. While this is going on, I wanted to shout out HBO Max. I already shouted out Tubi, which is the people's streaming service, because it's free. It does have ads, which can be a little aggravating. There are a couple of movies that are available on Tubi that I have sought out elsewhere, because I would rather not have it be interrupted by ads. But there are some movies that I don't mind that so much.
As you can see, this program
But Tubi has a great selection of movies, some cool older and foreign TV shows. If one of your main issues with a lot of mainstream streaming services is that they don't have much from before the year 2000 or much from countries other than America and England, then the Tubi should be good. It's not a massive streaming service, but it's pretty neat. I've found some good more obscure stuff, and yeah, a lot of like Chinese and Korean and Japanese television shows, stuff like that. But HBO Max, I have a quandary with HBO Max because I think out of the major streaming services, which I'm going to define as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, and I guess Paramount Plus, and maybe Peacock, even though you don't have to pay for that one. I'm gonna say those are the big ones. I know there's Apple TV Plus, but I don't care about that. These are like the big boys in my estimation. Of those, I think HBO Max has the best selection of movies and shows, at least for my personal taste, in terms of variety. They have some good cartoons, they have good TV shows of several different types, they have a lot of HBO original stuff, which, has stinkers and mediocre things like anywhere else, but also has some pretty cool stuff. Just like a pretty good selection of like rolling movies that like go on and off the platform. They have all the Adult Swim stuff, and if you're a fan of old classic cartoons like I am, it's fucking great because they have all of the Looney Tunes, all of Popeye, and all Tom and Jerry, which is like the non-Disney trifecta of
Friend, you are a natural.
early to mid-century cartoon happiness. I couldn't think of a good word there. So the quandary is that it has this great selection, but that it fucking sucks, like, as an app. I don't know why, like, whoever designed HBO Max, like, hates anyone who wants to use it for some reason, because the UI and just general functionality, it's been a little better about it recently for me, but that's because I haven't, in terms of like not crashing or having problems, but I think that's just because I haven't recently been attempting such wacky things as like turning the volume up while the movie or episode loads, or rewinding, because whenever I would do that, and I know this is not my own experience, I know lots of other people have had this problem, it would like crash either the stream or the entire app if you just did like shit like that, and like browsing on it used to be a big pain in the ass. I think they've may have made some improvements on that respect, but the UI is still bad, which is the case for the majority of streaming services, really. and just things in general. Anyone who's watched my videos knows that I've already talked ad nauseum about how most websites look like shit, but, whatever. I'm just slicing and dicing guys still. This has been going on for 20 minutes. I'm sorry, is something not more interesting, but, once we get guns and shit, because there's a lot more of that in the Matrix. Maybe that's why they have such a long sword fighting sequence here, because they're like, okay, well, we spent all our time, like, trying to make the sword fighting fun and whatnot, and, like, we're never gonna use it again. Joke's on me, there probably is going to be a level later on that I have not played that has a lot of sword fighting. I don't know what it would be. I'm trying to think of scenes from the movies that had sword fighting in them, and I'm not remembering. But they're kind of all, like, blurring together. I guess... Is that scene in... I think it's 2... I think it's 2. Or maybe 3. It's in, like a fancy... like museum or hall thing. It was like staircase. I think it's 3, where all the dudes, I think they have swords, some of them, and Neo fights all of them. Yeah, I'm being very helpful now. Remember that part in one of the Matrix movies where Neo fights a lot of guys at once? Anyway, maybe that scene. I think maybe he has a sword in that part.
Swordplay, Neo.
I don't
With a
remember.
focused mind, nothing can stand between you.
That's the only one I can think of, though. Most of the times they're either doing kung fu or doing pew pew. You know what I'm saying?
Rules of this program are simple, Neo. Defeat an enemy, get points. Achieve the goal score within the time limit, and you win. The more advanced your technique, the more points I'll give you for each enemy defeated.
I thought they were all holding wrenches at first. Anyway, this part's pretty funny. I like that little stance that Neo does in the part before they all come running in, where he like looks over and he's like, huh? Anyway, yeah, this is a time trial. You have 5 minutes to fucking beat up 1,000 guys in this void house. And it does not matter if you fall, because you'll just get plopped right back in the house. Unless it depletes your health, in which case maybe you can fall a bunch of times and die. But you'd have to deplete your health pretty quickly, because your health regenerates, but... Anyway, yeah, I like this part because I like the Kung Fu a lot better than the other stuff. I mean, the Kung Fu can get old, but the guns are a little unwieldy sometimes. Whenever there's like a lot of guys around and there are some that are like not on screen yet, or like not really in your actual line of sight, but they're like on the map so the game detects them, and you have to like, you use the right control stick to like shift which guy you're aiming at, and that part in particular is just like kind of finicky for me. I probably just have not gotten into the rhythm of it yet, but that's one of those things where like I'm aiming at a guy and not shooting, and I'm moving the right stick over to the right, and yeah, I just like danced my way off of this fucking thing.
Might want to look before you leap, Neo.
Well, I'll be hitting the right control stick, and it'll just like either not be moving at all from the guy I'm aiming at, or it'll go in a direction that is not at all what I thought I was doing, and start shooting some random guy. Or the worst is when it fucking locks on to just like objects that you can shoot like fire extinguishers. You can like blow them up, and if someone's near it, it'll like hurt their little head. But like, you know, so that's a little unwieldy. So but you know, it is, you know, when you jump out from behind a bit of cover and you just and you go into focus mode and you got the double pistols out and you're just drilling them in slow-mo, you know, that's cool as hell, obviously, very fun, makes it mostly worth it. I can tell that they wanted to make the shooting and the fighting like the main attraction of the game, obviously, because, you know, you want to be Neo, you want to be the guy, you want to play I Want to Be the Guy, and this is the next best thing. JK. I don't really like these throwing things. I never really learned how to throw them. I press the buttons that the game told me to press, and it doesn't throw them at them. So I just hit people with it, do it the old-fashioned way, you know. If I need a ranged weapon, just give me a gun. And by the way, I lied. If you haven't figured it out already, we're not going to get to the guns in this one. We're going to do that at the beginning of the next video. So I guess that's good. I guess that's a good place to split things. I believe we're going to have one more section of doing things that aren't guns, and then we're going to have a section with guns. And then that's when things really start getting heavy. Anyway, I like this part. This stuff. I don't know what kind of like extra stuff there is in this game, if any, but if there are like modes that you can do, like mini games, or just stuff like these, like time trials and like again, I always want to call these things boss rushes, but just like enemy gauntlets. If there's something like that, that'd be pretty cool. I would like to just like dick around. Look at that guy. That's why the fucking round wasn't ending, is because that guy was busy running into a door and I didn't even see him. And yeah, here's where I attempted to throw the thing at him. Like, here I'm aiming, and I'm, but that just makes me do a move. So it's like, what? So I just said, fuck it, and you're just gonna get thrown out into the abyss.
Incredible! You're a god in here, Neo.
You're a god in here, Nico, after watching me, like, flail around in a door for a half a minute. Look at me just zipping around these guys. Just cutting it up on the dance floor. Yeah, I will say, on a sensory level, I can't really speak to the controls or the depth of gameplay, but on a sensory level of how it feels to do the fighting, all the crunchiness and blows landing and shit, they got that shit down. Anyway, more of that and guns next time.